Here to let the Boy Scouts does the pledge tonight. Are you okay? Whenever you guys are ready. Yep. There's the chair. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. Of the United States of America. And to the republic with liberty and justice. So I would like to welcome Lucas and Kevin. Okay, from Troop 908. And they would like to say a few words. You can tell us about your troop and why you're here tonight, because it's for a badge.
We're part of Troop 908, and we're taking a particular merit badge called Citizenship and Community. And we need to go to one of our board meetings to see if we have a problem with something, where we need to go to and find out.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Roll call, please. Councilwoman Dean Hardy here. Councilwoman Bozak here. Councilman Loving
Here.
Councilwoman McCart here. Councilwoman Scott here. Approval of minutes, March 15, 2023. So moved. Second. Discussion. Roll call. Councilwoman McCarty? Yes. Councilwoman Bozak? Yes. Councilman Loving?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott? Yes. Councilwoman McCart? Yes. Reports. Jean?
I reported this to the RDC, but since we have some members that were in attendance there, I just wanted to point out that State Bill 325 that reduces tax caps. The Senate Bill 325 is still in motion, and it would reduce tax caps on homestead credits from 3 cents down to 2 or 3% down to 2%, which could cut some of our taxes because it would kick in some of the homestead credits, and that's money that we cannot recoup. House Bill 419 includes language previously in House Bill 1085, and that language would restrict state or RDC's ability to spend money on any projects that they didn't already have on their annual project list when they submitted their project list for the next year. And it also would increase their reporting requirements. And it also prohibits pilot fees from utilities to town general fund. And although the town doesn't currently collect pilot fees from our town utilities, it would eliminate our ability to do that in the future if we chose to. What that is because we own our own utility, it's tax exempt. And so we could determine how much they would have paid had they got a public utility, and we could recoup those taxes, and that from the utility would go into the general fund to operate. So there's talk of eliminating that as a possibility as well. And 2 notes I wanted to point out: large item trash pickup is May 11th, and Burns Harbor scholarship applications are due May 31st. I think that's all I have for now.
Roseanne?
Earlier this month, Jeremy and I attended a meeting at the Vancouver County with some various people throughout the county to discuss the opioid funds. No decisions on anything were made. It's just a discussion. We'll meet again with them and hear how things are going, I believe, in 2 months. That's all I have.
Nick?
Oh, man.
Nope. Andy? Nope. All right, Tyler, do you have anything?
Regarding the easements, we regularly contact Leland Cliffs, we'll continue to do so. Cortland's Landing, we're just waiting on documents.
Thank you. Town engineer, Luciana?
Sorry. So waiting on for them to give us the need for the park.
That's my understanding.
Okay, and is the park board aware of all that?
One more time, what?
The Cortland's Park property. Okay, just checking. Sorry.
Jennifer. Martin isn't here. He's actually leaving Global for another adventure. And so Jeff is going to, I'm assuming is going to cover for us tonight.
Oh,
So
welcome.
this is
Nice
Jeff,
to meet you.
for those of you that haven't met.
And he's from London. Oh,
So-
okay. I will have Mark.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in the audience.
Sorry, I'm just not clear. Can you, whatever you have to do to know my conflict of interest with one second.
Oh, okay.
Can you clarify? I haven't received the deed. Clay was going to create the document for me and my parents to sign.
I'll follow up with Clay and reach out to you. Okay, let you know.
Thank you.
As far as the, yeah, the part of the engineers, because I know there was some plans for the CCHP that came through. So I know that regarding crack sealing and things like that, I know that the timeline for that kind of thing, which I do know by the next meeting, but like we got that coming through, so we're working on that.
You guys got the email that we received,
Yes.
the community crossing grant, dress ceiling. We just got that information today, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it yesterday? No,
It's right
it's all one together.
Sometime this week we got.
Right.
All right.
Building commissioner, oh, was that one of?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know there's an item under business for the solving, so I'll just talk into that one.
Okay. Do you have anything with building department?
Yeah, we're still following up on problem homes. In contact with the owners and getting close to solving a couple of problems. 371 Melton, we're working on that. Garbage pickup is supposed to be today or tomorrow. Yeah. Pizza Terra. Had a meeting with Bill and we were just reaffirming safety issues that they need to be compliant with over there. I stopped by there and their patio is supposed to be installed next week. And they should be open for business back there. And I've been working with complaints on homes being tidied up, their yard. Councilwoman Bozak mentioned one, and I've been working on that problem. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Rob, do you have anything for the street department?
Yes, we had I can give you all a copy of the tentative construction schedule. It may be delayed at least 1 week, if not 2. We're starting over in Harbor Trails. And that is just the tentative timeline as to what's going on and when. As far as the paving portion of the CCMG goes. We had a pre-construction meeting this afternoon and they're having issues locating some of the utilities underground. So that's the reason for the delay, but the other thing that I was checking into, I had a sales rep stop by the shop a couple weeks ago and they rent street sweepers. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but we have such a hard time getting somebody to sweep our streets, and when we do find them to sweep our streets, it's nothing but a headache. And I was wondering your input on possibly renting the machine. And they would rent it to us by the week. And we could actually sweep the streets properly, including parking lots, parking lots, our facility,
How much is it to rent?
3,500 per a week.
And if the job can be done in a week?
Yes. We've got just a lot going on right now. I'm trying to work on getting Old Port Road cleaned up. I've been meeting with NKG, which is the boring company. I'm not real happy with the restorative work that they've been doing around town, and I have a meeting with one of their foremen Friday. So, but they're leaving ruts on the shoulders of the roads and everything, and we've been finally getting the mowers back out on the streets today, and I'm just not happy with the way things are going with these guys, so they're gonna be doing some more restorative work around town. That's all I got.
When are you looking to sweep?
Everything.
When?
Oh, we usually generally do it in the spring and in the fall, right before. The springtime obviously is the heavier one because of all the abrasives that we use throughout the winter time. So that is the one that would take a little bit longer. So,
Can you do that in any weather, or does it have to be dry?
no, they're actually using water and the machine to keep the dust down. So if it's raining, that's even better for us. So, and then they would deliver the machine, teach us how to run it, and come and pick the machine up. That's all included in the price.
I just wanted to add to, it's gonna be one of our, whether it's a contractor or them doing that, we have to do it twice a year. That's one of our requirements on our EMS form that we're getting into now. We have to document that and turn that in, so for our admit. So it is important that we do that. It says the crowns need to be at least once a year and the gutters at least once a year. So as long as they're doing it twice a year, we'll meet that requirement.
Any discount for booking 2 weeks now?
I can ask him tomorrow.
Ask.
Okay,
Doing not to exceed 7. And then maybe you can work it down to 6 or whatever.
okay.
If the answer is no, the answer is no. That's.
Yeah.
I don't give discounts, so. I'll make a motion not to exceed 7,000.
Second. Sorry, I'm listening.
Not to exceed for the 7,000 for both.
Both.
For both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let
Roll discussion?
That's for 2 rentals, 1 now and 1 in the fall.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Roll call, please. Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCord.
Yes.
Do you know when curb painting will start up again and finish?
No.
And then did you get quotes for, did you get a hold of mold companies?
Sorry.
Did you get a hold of mold companies for the building? To come look at?
Yes. And there's not,
No mold.
no mold.
That's good news.
Good.
Yes, there's no mold.
Are you still gonna replace drywall?
Yes.
Okay. And
And since there's no mold, we can handle that ourselves.
yeah, and I saw the PO for the gutters. Is that to hopefully resolve whatever was happening in terms of the water coming in?
Yes, for the entire building.
Right.
Did that area that you fixed that we talked about when Jennifer and I came back there, when it rained bad last week, did that help?
It didn't seem to,
You know, changing
Really
that,
make a
changing
difference.
that downspout?
yeah, I really didn't. I didn't notice anything different.
Oh, did the water still collect in the, I don't know the word, the seam, the crease,
No,
where the water was collecting before? No, okay.
Town Marshal, Janet?
Really the only thing going on, like, besides for our day-to-day, the squad room, the street department finished that up, Brandon finished painting, looks great. So that project is done. We had a visit this past month, for the police department as well as the fire department. It was Cub Scout Pack 929, that went great. That was definitely a positive experience, I guess. That's probably the first time in the decade I've been here that we've had anyone come tour our police department. So was a little crazy getting everything ready, but like it went really well. The other thing, it's already got removed off the agenda, but the cameras for the town hall got completed today, so they are up and running. So that was completed.
No, I know.
And that's all I got. Everything else is on the agenda.
In addition to that, the invoice is in, you approved that quote, is it all right? I just have the invoice today too. So is it all right for me to pay that invoice between now and the next meeting, or should I wait until next meeting? For you guys to approve it? It did meet, it was in the amount of the quote, didn't go over.
Do you need a motion for it?
Well, it's on the table, we can approve it.
It was an invoice, so I just want approval to just release payment
Yeah.
before the next meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Your chief bill.
Not much going on, just, Jeremy spoke, we have the Cub Scouts, just got to run into calls day to day and cleaning up the station from winter activity and, staying busy. That's about it.
And do you have anything for sanitation and stormwater?
Sanitation, street department was helping us, finish up that few spots that we had on the easement, that it's not done yet. To clean up for our main that goes down Route 12. The second section of that, I should say. We've been working on that and then, just doing some cleaning, and I'm getting some quotes right now on replacing two, air reliefs, so relief valves. Hopefully that will eliminate some of the flow issues that we're having. They seem to be a little bit slower than what they were. So other than that, just working on maintenance.
Bill, any plans after all of the boring is done to check sewer lines?
So we're checking them, we're watching them, we're actually trying to follow them, because as you know, we get the road locates. And anytime they're by ours, we're doing site inspections right now, trying to keep an eye, it doesn't guarantee it. But at least we know where they're at, so if we have an issue, we get that, so. It's pretty, there's a couple and they've been real close to our lines, so. We did get my message on that one. Right.
Sure, but did we find a spot for the building truck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, we never heard
I just wanted
nothing,
to-
so we just said, put it in there. I says, which one, Rob? You wanted mine or there? And Rob made room, so
You guys are Russell, thank you.
I think so. Yeah, he almost beat me, but
Checking the scenery.
so it's it.
Next time, right? Okay, thank you guys. Park board representative?
Hi, this year Lakeland Park has been chosen as one of the project sites for rebuilding Together Dunewin, and that's happening April 29th. If you would like to volunteer, please go to their Facebook page, Rebuilding Together Dunewin, and they have a post with a link so that you can sign up to help. And once again, that's happening April 29th. We're really excited. A lot of maintenance is going to be done in the park. No huge projects because they don't have a lot of. Also, the park has been, preparing for opening season, so that's what it is. That's it.
Jane, do you know if we put anything on, rebuilding together can we put something on Facebook? You asked Corinne to put something on Facebook.
Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't gather my
Even
words.
even resharing rebuildings posts, Jane,
Okay.
of
Oh,
the
there you go.
dates that are coming up, yeah.
RDC?
RDC, today we had a presentation, from the, from the national park. Where's he from? About the new kayak launch that they're going to start working on there on 149. So they walked us through their steps, for the plans for that. There will be some work volunteer opportunities for people who want to come and help and clear the locale, so you can kayak your way down Porter County. That sounds super fun. Also, we we signed all the paperwork last week for the acquisition for the Macaulay property for the trail development. So we are still rolling along with all of our projects. That's all I have.
Thank you. Shared ethics, I know Jane and Mary's in the email, reached out to somebody down. Yes, it's on. Oh, it's down there.
No, it's different. It's on the back. Sorry,
Reach out to Joan Stewart, she put an application, she was, interested in serving the town. And she is willing to try the shared ethics.
Very good.
So we created a motion from the council, so I send that to the chair.
I'm going to motion to appoint John Stewart as our representative for the Shared Ethics Commission.
Second.
Session, roll call please.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarty.
Yes. You're here, yes, of course.
Item notice of public comment from Monosol LLC, Part 70 operating permit, Porter County. Item notice of public comment for Pre-Coat Metals, Part 70 operating permit, Porter County. Item notice of public comment for Amazon Data Services Inc. LLC, minor source operating permit, Porter County. Item notice of decision for Cleveland Cliffs, Burns Harbor, O'Neill modification permit, Deerfield storage facility. And Burns Harbor Redevelopment Commission Treasurer Annual Report fiscal year end 2022 pursuant to Indiana Code 36-7-14-13.
Presentation of resolutions.
Does I think Angie has something?
I did not give Angie the ordinances, the two ordinances that were sent over from the attorney. They're very lengthy. They arrived either yesterday or today. They reported to the council and myself. And there were some concerns that maybe you guys didn't have an opportunity to really look at them. I think one was 40 some odd pages and the other one's a lot.
Light reading.
Yeah, and so I don't know if the council wants to consider, can take them under consideration and deal with them in May, but whatever you guys choose to do.
Just one of me.
Which was that, do you know which ones those were, Jane? Was that the text?
It's the 315 for regulating stormwater and 318 for the text. It's amending the text for the motor vehicle chapter 8.
Okay.
Okay, can we revisit that in May then?
Sure.
Resolution 2023-05, a resolution declaring the road applied by the town council for the town of Burns Harbor, Porter County, Indiana. Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarty.
Yes. Resolution 2023-06, a resolution of Burns Harbor Town Council, Porter County, Indiana, reestablishing the cash change funds. Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Well, I guess my only question is 150 enough? I mean, I know we don't want to have a lot of money, but is 150 enough?
The cash change, the petty cash, I'm sorry, the petty. So we already have cash change in the building department, we have cash change in the sanitation utility department. And we have petty cash in the park, and we have petty cash in my office.
Right.
My office has been $75 since before I was here,
Right.
and recently I was asked to break 100.
Right.
So I just add, basically that's just increasing mine to 150, so I can break those larger bills. And everybody else seems to be fine, but I'm reaffirming those or having you reestablish them, so it's all in writings in one location. Everybody else has not had an issue with the amount they have. They're all 150, by the way. Mine was the only one that was 75, but I hadn't needed it to be larger. But now we have more people paying with, not often, but paying with large enough bills that we need somebody to be able to break that large bill.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
And that's what
enough.
that is. I think it is. I don't want, I think it will serve its purpose. Thanks.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-07, Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation. Whereas child abuse prevention is a community problem and finding solutions on development among people throughout the community. Whereas statistics of children who are abused and neglected escalate each year. Whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by both communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. Whereas effective child abuse prevention method programs succeed because of partnerships created among social services agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Whereas youth serving prevention programs offer positive alternatives for young people and encourage youth to develop strong ties to their community. Whereas all citizens should become more aware of child abuse and its prevention within the community and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe and nurturing environment. Now therefore, the town council of the town of Burns Harbor, County, Indiana does hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the town of Burns Harbor. And calls upon its citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to prevent child abuse, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live. Signed this 12th day of April. Motion to adopt. Second. Questions?
Andrew seconded it. Thank you. Sorry. Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. New business, we have staff anniversaries this month. Wayne James is served as 1 year so far. Yes. Hi. And Corinne Peppers, 7 years. So, thank you. Salt storage structure, final plans and bid schedule.
We're putting the finishing touches on plans and specifications for the project. We're coordinating with Mr. Wesley on final details of that. So tonight we were asking for a motion to advertise that project for bidding. Set a tentative schedule of how that could look as far as quickly we wanted it out to bid and how quickly we wanted it to come back before the council for final approval of bids. The one that I sent would have it coming through and coming back to the town for the May meeting to award the bids with the bid opening on May the 3rd. So I just asked for that motion and your opinion on the schedule.
I was able to reach the times. They feel that they could meet that printing deadline of the 17th or those dates, those tentative dates, so April 17th and April 24th. So that was concerned. Now that we advertise with the Times, they need a larger lead time for publishing things, but we should be able to make those dates if that's what the board wants to do.
I'll make a motion to approve the starting of the bidding process.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott,
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. The police department job description.
I make a motion to approve the police department job descriptions.
Second.
Yeah, right on.
I'm not a recommendation, so.
Discussion. Roll call?
Councilwoman Scott. Yeah. Councilwoman Biancardi.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes.
With that said, though, I was,
Yes.
I would encourage all departments annually to look at your job descriptions and make sure that they, you know, if you've added anything new, if you need something changed, and then just like tonight, bring it back and, you know, give that approval. It's important if we ever have, you know, if it's not for something where we might need to accommodate a position that we have good job descriptions that cover that. So we can do that when we're able to. Where are we at? Discussion? No. We're done. Sorry.
No smoking policy. We have a no smoking policy in our handbook. We don't want smoking inside our buildings. And I think there's like so many foot outside our buildings, 8 feet. But we'd also like to enforce that there's no smoking inside of our town vehicles. Approval of March 2020.
Excuse me, would you like that added to the handbook?
Oh,
Because the no smoking in the vehicles is, I'm sorry, in the building is there, but it's not. They don't speak to the vehicles. Would you like that added?
yes.
Okay. One note on that too, at this most recent training I attended, the person that owns the company that does our handbooks for us indicated in a class she was training that there are some changes at the federal level that need to be added to our handbook. And she anticipates that, all handbooks basically, that she anticipates a new handbook version coming out with that new language. I would like to maybe coordinate with her to get that language added about the same time, so we don't have to go through the acknowledgement more than once. So I can reach out to her and see when she anticipates that new version coming out and see if it's gonna be months from now, then I'll push it through faster. Is that okay? Okay.
Approval of March 2023 and the report. Okay. Discussion. Roll call please.
Councilwoman Biancardi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes.
Councilman Loving?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr?
Yes. Approval to pay vouchers with 3 or more signatures.
Second. Discussion.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes.
Councilman Loving?
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott?
Yes.
Councilwoman Biancardi?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr?
Abstain. Approval of purchase orders submitted with 3 or more signatures.
Are we covering all of them, including those 3 that were submitted on April 11th? Was that? I'm just checking. They're all listed.
Yes, I think we should.
So of these that are the different, what are some of the invoices and some of them quotes? Are we supposed to be not purchasing until they're approved? Are we in discussion? Sorry.
Is that what that means, Jane? If it's an invoice that's already been purchased?
Yes.
Why are we continuously making purchases before they're approved?
And if you've listed it on here and it's under the 1,000, where a liaison can sign it, would you still list it here?
Yes, I've been listing all of them because unless a liaison would have come in and signed it and processed it
Okay.
through other channels, they're all submitted to me. and-
Okay.
And no one's coming to sign.
So
it.
some of these, right, so some of the lower ones of invoices did they have like
Yeah, Bill and I talked about the convention, so.
no, I know,
They were all submitted to me at some point between the last meeting and this meeting and have no signatures on them. And so they're on the list.
If it's the convention, that's questioned, it's not paid for yet. So that one's not paid for. I was waiting for council's approval for the training, so we talked about it, but technically, it's 2 different people's registrations. So they're actually under $500 if you look at it that way, but I put them together. But either way, they've not been paid for yet. waiting for.
I have a question about with the convention. How do you decide who you take with you to all these classes? Like, how do you, is it, you try to take somebody else to?
They sign up of interest on classes they want to take or what they want to take. It's a commitment of going and they have to bring back that education, share it with the department.
I just didn't know if it was like you go this time, you go this.
No,
time.
it's between myself and the training officer and, there's only a handful of people that want to go or
Right.
that. So we do try to do it fairly, but it's my decision, my discretion.
Yeah, I was just curious as to how,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
how you took one guy out of all, you know.
no, we try to split it up. Yeah.
Okay.
So Rob, you've already had the cylinder repair done? Is that coming out of your budget?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that was an emergency. That spoke to Jennifer about.
Okay.
What about the four blinking stop signs? Where are we putting those?
Oh, I forgot to bring that up in my report. I would like to put them up at Haglin in the entrance to the park. One each direction on Haglin. I'd like to put them up at 20 and 149, one each direction. I'm sorry, Oak Quarter and 149.
I was just questioning, because we don't have any.
And then, you know, I would eventually, like maybe in 2024, get 2 more for 20 Salt Creek and, you know, anything that intersects either a park or a highway, I would like them to have the flashing signs.
And those have already been purchased.
No, ma'am,
That's a quote.
Okay. What is the, oh, I see the blinking. What are the, I was looking at the various signs. What are the various signs?
oh, I'm sorry.
Various signs, there's an invoice $995.52 for various signs from Hall Signs.
Yes, that's. We don't have any signage along Haglin Road for park. We don't have any signage along Haglin Road for deer crossing. I'm getting numerous complaints about deer. And replacing signs that currently don't meet the current standards.
And we have those signs now.
Yes,
And when are you putting those signs up?
we've been working on it slowly but surely.
What is this Justin's Tree Service one? Is this the invoice that's on the table from January?
Yes,
Did we just receive this invoice?
No.
So why are we just getting this invoice?
because we didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't know it was coming out of my budget. It was an emergency.
So where's the invoice been since January?
They just resent it to us.
So when you got it in January, you didn't do anything with it in January for us to decide?
Now, I believe. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what happened. I give everything to Lori and I don't know if. I know we were waiting to see where the money was coming from.
That keep coming up that are pretty. So we're just we need to fix this issue, so we're not just blindly approving things that, you know, we have a process and the process needs to be followed.
We didn't have.
I don't remember.
We didn't have a motion.
I'm sorry, I was sort of August.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Are the gutters and downspouts, is that coming out of your budget as well?
Roll call. Councilman Loving,
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott. Yes. Councilwoman Dean Hardy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCord.
Abstain.
Old business, sanitary board member fit. So we need to.
address that we still need an engineer.
We still need an engineer, but the town code was rewritten, and so we need it to reflect the state code. And I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to make those changes yet, but that's still something that needs to be done.
Okay.
And of course, we still need an engineer to serve on the board. Job.
For that back. Thanks, you know.
Please do, we really need to fill that.
Has any, what of project, like professional engineer, is that what it is? Oh, I have a service, someone on the board. You like to do that?
No.
Oh, it's every, it's only been a month.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's already got
Doesn't Travis already do 2 boards?
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not asking.
Yeah. He's a good asset to plan, so please leave him leave him plan, like.
All right, well, anyway, we're still looking for a licensed engineer, if anybody knows one. Wink. Trying, guys.
Hey. Left.
Hey, where? Didn't he not tell you that that's what you
He
have to
said,
do?
Porter County. Maybe when he gets off work, he could swing by.
Oh, you enjoy coming back?
Sure.
All right.
That doesn't make you off the hook though, Jeff.
You wouldn't get to see my face since I'm not an engineer, I'm a landscape architect.
Oh.
You have engineers on, Echo, so.
Yeah, okay. So maybe you can talk somebody into their.
Right.
All right. Number 2, body camera decommission matter.
I got nothing on this. I think the units that we're gonna decommission, it's just gonna go into whatever next auction we do. I mean, it's. It's just not feasible to go through that process for something of little value. I think they could probably just purchase the cameras cheaper than what we could go through the process legally. So,
So removed from the agenda.
yeah, I think that can go away.
Department, I had some water damage status. We covered that. Well, there's no mold, but are there repairs that need to be made to the building? Are they being made, or is
There
that,
will be.
is that something you all are doing in the department? Okay.
Street sweeping invoice, from last year. Well,
We're happy to reach out to them if the council would like us to.
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw that you forwarded the email to Clay this last week. I saw that. Because they called you again, right?
Yeah, they're still reaching out, asking for final payment, so I can direct them to Clay when they contact again, but I guess if we need to remove that and say it's with the attorneys, I just didn't want to remove it without you guys saying remove it from the agenda.
just need to get an update from Clay. Next one.
I think in between, someone needs to get out to them. I mean,
If we could be sent, I know, I think Rob last month talked about emails between himself and the street sweeping company, just we have all the information when you respond.
can you send those?
I think I did. I think I sent them to Clay. I don't think I had your email.
I'll check with them.
Okay.
Pre-employment background check policy. Something Jane and Jerry were working on.
Jeremy had quite a bit of information before, again, at this most recent training, the person that does our HR was there, our handbook, I mean, was there. I had an opportunity to speak to her briefly between sessions. They of course do that for, as one of their, services they provide. Feel like I might have sent that email to all of you, based on, some of the discussion she, or things she cautions people to do. things she recommends you check and how you check them, and of course, she would do all of that for me. Some of them were some things Jeremy discussed in previous meetings that he felt that we could do at the local level. It depends on how deep you want to dig into or research somebody's background. And she gave us well, was it maybe 125? And it broke down by types of checks, like what she's looking for and what that typically would cost based on, you know, if we wanted to move in that direction. So we had a conversation about that and some cautions about what to watch for and you know, be careful about. And so I think we're kind of at that point, maybe just coming up with a plan. I think we researched a lot of stuff, so.
I think it'd be my intention that my department would handle the background checks short of the financial end of things. If there was gonna be any financial background checks done on anybody, that would be beyond our capabilities. But it still need to be approved and
Yeah.
written into the handbook, potentially at the same time that it gets revisited anyways.
Pre-employment background checks aren't, because they're not an employee, they're not, it wouldn't be in the handbook. It would just be a policy you would adopt. And we would make sure that the language is on all of our applications and things that indicate or advise anybody who's applying that we would be checking. And that make sure all the proper language is on our applications, allowing them to give us permission to do those checks. So, because they're not an employee yet, you don't put it in your handbook. The handbook is for current employees. And so I guess the next step would be maybe coming up with a policy plan and how we do it and the steps we take and maybe some type of, I hate to say another four-letter word, but that we can sign off, you know, Jeremy checked this, you know, whoever does our financials checked and kind of keep track of who did what and a yes or no, because I don't think you detail necessarily what you discovered. You just say yes, good to go, or what, you know, no. And we talked about having a pre-employment letter of intent. So that, and I think Tony responded to that, like you say, we're going to, our pre-employment offer letter, sorry. And then you say, we're gonna offer you this job contingent to these checks, these background checks, and your reference checks and things like that. And then that protects you. And allows you to pull back the job if something comes back that's not in favor of everything. So I think we've all, and we have some examples of those too, so I guess. I mean, I don't know if you want us to keep that item on the agenda, I don't wanna, like. You know, I don't wanna say Jeremy will help me, it's his decision to make, but I mean, we can work on this some more and come back with the council. With some kind of drafts. I don't know if you wanna leave it on the agenda and talk about it each month, or you just want me to come back when we have some things in place. Or some options for you to look at.
You can just come back. You have options for us
Okay.
to look at.
Okay, well, that's what that Jeremy would like to help. I would
Absolutely.
certainly accept it. If not, that's, you know, we'll work on it.
I think he'd love to help you.
Okay.
Open board seats, I guess. We need to look at RDC. It was brought to our attention that. Angie and I, we can't. Or we
No.
or how's the wording?
You're a holdover.
Yes, or what?
Jennifer is a holdover for that open spot. She was on the board, RDC board before. And so November. Okay, so in November, Jennifer as the president makes 3 appointments, appointed. Miss Cup. And Nick and Roseanne, I believe my email said, is that what I said? And then Nick, as a council member, because the council gets 2 appointments, recommended, and you guys voted on Brad, and then there was going to be 1 open seat. And Jennifer's kind of that holdover, so that you have 5 board members, so I guess there was some. Because now Angie says
I love
she
you.
loves the RDC. So, we just need to kind of confirm who's gonna be on RDC, who isn't, and.
I just wanna let you know that my
Confirm
meetings
it.
usually take less than 20 minutes. I'm just throwing it out there.
And she had a presentation, and we let Brad.
Let Brad.
So, you know,
Okay.
Andrew didn't know.
And I went to plan.
Oh, okay, so I will be on the board then.
Okay.
See, Angie will not.
Okay. And so we're still looking for a board member then,
Yeah,
so
we need another.
Angie is definitely not on the board, Jennifer is on the board, we're still looking for a 5th board member and potentially, well, the school will be responsible.
Does the 5th board member, does that need to be anybody, it can be any citizen, and is it just party affiliation matter?
No, not for this board.
Okay. And as a citizen, that is a compensated board.
It is.
Okay.
It can be, Brad has been kind enough in all the years he served to waive it, he's really dedicated to for that, but it is a compensated board.
Yes.
Mhm. I'm sorry, it is a compensated board if you're not an elected official, let me clarify that.
Yes.
So if it ends up being an elected official, they cannot be compensated. That's a state law. That's a state law, not my law, not. Letting you know.
All right, next is the EMS budget, but we just received an email, I think yesterday from Bill. We got Jane involved. So basically, we need to revisit this in May. We all need to have another discussion. I will discuss, this individually with each of my council members. Hope we have a decision in May. How we can solve this. Next, trash fee appeal process.
I volunteered that. It's not that I volunteered myself.
It says Tony volunteers, volunteer
It doesn't,
himself.
it doesn't.
Work on it.
You were talking about Tony, and I was like,
But I was like, I said,
just like he volunteered me for something.
that's supposed to be next.
Something that I wasn't.
The minutes say it's next.
Okay,
You know the minutes.
okay. I'm asking official record.
That's the official.
You already approved them.
So,
So to kind of tell you a couple of the items that our office is proceeding forward with is we had a property owner say that, so the ordinance adopted said any residential property is going to be invoiced or billed for the service. And so we have a couple of properties in town where the property owners are saying the home on this property is not habitated, doesn't have anybody living in it, and we don't want to pay that. We want to receive or be waived the fee. Well, we don't have that ability. You guys haven't drafted anything, and so that's one situation.
Which we talked about
one-
using the sanitation model for that appeal process.
But and those particular homes probably are in a state that they should be condemned. But one that was brought to our attention most recently, because it recently sold, and Kren was researching online who the new owner would be and where to send the new bill. She discovered that a house on Salt Creek Road, it actually has a Portage address. And since the ordinance says, and what we can enforce, or what we in the town can enforce, is if they don't pay, we can mean them. But if they live in Portage, we can't do that. And the ordinance says they are Burns Harbor residents or get this fee. So she contacted Republic and they said, yes, indeed, they're one of the houses that we're being billed for. And that they've always picked up trash. So because it's a new owner,
And that's probably the only access is through Burns Harbor, right?
True.
The only road
Yes,
access.
this is the very last on the east side of.
Right,
Yeah,
which is why
Plus-
those services are happening there.
I think most people don't get. Don't get that one little house on
Mhm.
Salt Creek on the very east end of North Salt Creek Road is not in Burns Harbor. It was never incorporated. It's part of.
It's the west side, but it's, yeah.
Where are we?
It's east side of Portage, but it's the west side of the street.
What Salt Creek Road are we talking about?
We're talking.
Yours on the north end, 494.
North Salt Creek Road. That's Salt Creek Road.
It's Salt Creek Road, it's on the west,
The
or the
west.
east, the eastmost property on Salt Creek Road, on the north side, or I'm
Right
sorry,
next-
you're right.
It's the westmost.
You're in my road.
North
20,
North-most, west, north-most property, sorry, I've got my direction.
From 20, if you go north, you dead end, it's the property on the left hand side before I-94.
So, so this is not a town resident,
No,
so we need to instruct Republic to stop charging us for picking up.
and so that's what we just want all of you to understand, that's what, and get some direction that that's what you want to do, but that was another issue that came up, and so that's why we were just an identity. So, okay.
We can chat about it.
Okay.
All right,
Go to order?
Yeah, I got something.
I know.
So we had a few instances where we've been writing town ordinance tickets recently. And a couple things came up. One specifically is chapter 16, this noise ordinance, control ordinance. There's fees established up to and starting at an amount and ending at an amount, but there's no established fee for us to charge. So if I write this ticket and I send them to our clerk treasurer, what does she charge them? Like, because if you go back to chapter 1 in the fee table, exhibit A, there's no established fee. So while there's ranges, I mean, so basically the way I'm looking at it is I can't write a noise ordinance violation at this point because we wouldn't know what to collect.
So there's a lower range. and then
It's
an upper
so it's
range.
up to 750, up to not to exceed 250. And then after that, it goes from like 750 is the minimum for a second violation. Up to it's either 1,500 or 2,500, which is,
So it doesn't-
let's say, a significant
They
amount.
give you the discretion.
Yeah, but how do I set? Like, who makes that discretion, makes that call? I'm not comfortable making that decision.
Right.
I mean, what makes this person, like this violation worse or better? I think we need an established. It's fine that there's a range if you establish a fee, or you just need to establish
So
a
you're gonna
fee.
suggest some of those next month, huh?
What the,
Starting ranges and.
well, the range is set,
Range starting.
the range is set in the ordinance. I'm just looking to actually have the fee set, but I mean, I'll do a couple research of surrounding towns and see what it could fit, but I don't feel comfortable like putting it on her shoulders, because she's not gonna know what to do with it. I mean, it's not established. She's probably just not gonna, I wouldn't feel comfortable collecting somebody's money at that point.
State Board of Accounts has written the town up before for something not quite like this, but similar, not quite, but similar. Years ago, when construction started where they had fabricated trusses of roofs and floors. And the town said that those homes built like that, constructed like that, needed to have a tag. So the firefighters knew it was built that way so that they were safe. The language was that the fee would be, the charge would be what it cost the town to create that tag. State Board of Accounts said it needs to be a number. So we were charging $10 at the time, because when we ordered the tags, they were $10 a piece. And they said, we want to see it in the chart and we want it to say it's $10. We want your residents or whoever buys that tag to know it's going to be $10. It's not going to be $10 for this person, 20 for that person, 15 for this person. It's got to be spelled out. And so what Jeremy's running into is it's a range, but what do we charge? And State Board's going to look at that when we start charging them and say, why'd you pick 250 for this guy and 500 for that guy? They're going to say, we want to see consistency.
Immediately, I mean, if there was any inequity between the people, I mean, this could be something that I don't think the town
That's
forget.
what you could do, maybe Michelle could help look at the neighboring communities.
Yeah, we could, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because like when it came up, it was like, all right, well, I can probably write a nuisance violation, but I mean. The noise ordinance, like there's a specific spot that fits this specific violation to the T. But like, it's just, I mean, after our discussion, I was like, I don't feel comfortable writing that. I mean, the other stuff that we've written, like, I mean, we've had a lot of dog related incidents recently. And yeah, at least that's established. Those fees are set, you know, we've written 3 in the last week.
We have to figure out a plan.
What?
To change the ordinance to give it.
I don't, we can just do it right here, if anything that goes to plan, you all make that recommendation to get it.
Right,
We
I
can
just-
streamline it here.
Okay, I didn't know.
I mean,
You
anything.
can't just say, here's what you want to do for each one specific.
Most of them are set. This is just a specific, there's nothing in regards to that. Yeah, there's a couple other things that I'll send to Tony to work on that's a little confusing, so. Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes, I have some. So, had you up to speed, at the last year, the council adopted a bonus for our volunteer firefighters. For those that worked through COVID. And you set forth the rules on how we were supposed to pay them based on the time they were here during that COVID period, et cetera, and at a maximum amount. We went through the process, we cut the check to the firefighters last December. And in getting the first set of canceled checks, which is part of the requirements of the amended contract. And we were looking at those internally to make sure for internal control purposes, we discovered that I had mistakenly underpaid the firefighters. When I created the spreadsheet, the last 3 gentlemen on the spreadsheets, dollar amounts that were supposed to be paid were not calculated into that amount. So the contract said they were supposed to get an additional $7,679.23 for this bonus pay. Well, they should have received an additional $1,625.05. I spoke to State Board of Accounts to see how they felt we could best handle that. And then I spoke to Clay briefly about how he felt we should handle that based on what State Board said. And they basically suggested we draft a second amendment to the amended contract from 2022, indicating basically that we discovered an error in our calculation and that a second check will be written to make the fire department whole. Because I believe they cut those checks to all their firefighters. So now they're, you know, they weren't compensated correctly. The fire department wasn't compensated correctly. I think the fire department, fire staff probably were. And so having said all that, if the council would not mind adopting this second amended 2022 contract, showing that they are still owed another $1,625.05, I will try and get that check. I will definitely get that check cut before the end of the month and get that to the fire department.
So,
Okay.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Councilwoman Dean Hardy.
yes.
Councilwoman Bozak.
Yes.
Councilman Loving.
Yes.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes.
And Councilwoman McCart.
Yes.
And
Did you get the checks taken care of that we talked about? The checks. For the fire, if they were issued your checks.
we are still waiting for 3 additional canceled checks to be brought to our office.
Okay.
But, we have the others.
Okay.
So, this contract, I just set it up so that, the council president and then the fire department president could sign it instead of everybody having to sign it, since it's kind of just cleaning up the part. If everybody's okay with that. Okay, so we'll get that taken care of. And that's all I.
Jane, can you remind me who those 3 are when you get a chance?
Yes, I will shoot an email. I don't have it in front of me, so I'll shoot an email.
Let's see if they catch.
If for some reason, if they haven't cashed them, how long are these checks good for? Did we find out?
I know that They coincidentally bank at the same bank we do, but because we're a municipality and state statute allows our checks to be good for 2 years. I haven't had an opportunity, to reach out to the bank and see what the length of their check would be. I have seen their checks and there's no extra language on the check that indicates its life is longer than a typical, and typically it's 6 months.
Okay, I just know these 3-year hold on to the checks, I want to make them aware that. I would hate
That's
for
why I
them
asked
to
you.
cancel, yeah.
Yeah, hold on to them until Christmas, it'd be sad, they don't care.
Right, the bank
Yeah.
won't clear it. They clear ours because there's language on the check that says
Right.
that they have 2 years to cash them. Okay.
I'd like to thank our Boy Scouts for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah.
Hopefully you
Thank
guys-
you, Boy Scouts.
Especially on a school night, thank
Right.
you.
And thank your parents for getting.
Was it more exciting than being at school though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me know next time, maybe we have a day meeting.
And the time you went, you guys were here, to by and visit the fire department and the police, and I'm sure.
Pat 99 had a great time.
Yeah.
We are always looking for volunteer opportunities. Yeah, to do some service hours, so.
It's actually hard.
So 908, like, get a hold and you get some Boy Scouts.
Gentlemen, With your shovel.
They want to. There's 12.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So they also have several that are getting ready for Eagle Scout too, so they'll be along for projects, so they can always use extra input on the project. Thank you so much.
Motion to adjourn.
I have one thing.
Oh,
I forgot to mention when we were talking about invoices and stuff, because it's so scrambled. If you guys approved the training, we were still having issues finding hotels. We found them, but they're in different places. So you do not see a PO for that. So yes.
We just make sure they don't have tax.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, because I've had such a hard time and Jane's been great trying to help with that and sending me emails. It was a nightmare, these last two. We'll just look for reimbursement ourselves versus putting it on the town's account, and then we could deal with it, because if I have to eat tax, then I do, because that is horrible dealing with these hotels. So it's. If you guys follow the email trends that Jane and I were doing with the last one, it went on and then I forgot what it was. They billed us for a room for a no-show and we were there, and because they messed up, it was a nightmare. Obviously we'll stay under the limit for the night stay, but we'll have hotels for both of us.
I need a motion. Second. Special roll call.
Councilwoman Scott?
Yes.
Councilwoman Dean Hardy?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak?
Yes.
Councilman Loving?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr?
yeah.